Hello everyone, I am Josepyne Jullienne F. Garcia from DLM1 and today I will discuss about the evolution of technology in education. So let's start. Teaching and learning, which is the passing of knowledge from one generation to another, has been in existence from the earliest times of human civilization. Teaching in primitive societies occurred through the oral tradition and memory retention. The first primordial step in developing a teaching tool was the advent of writing. Hence, the development of a script and writing can be considered the first teaching tool. Earliest writing may have been on soft surfaces such as the ground, surface, or sand, and the equipment originally fingers and then sticks. What is preserved as the earliest writings are those that were carved on stone tablets. It is of ironic significance that today another kind of tablet is one of the latest technologies that is used in teaching and learning. The Sumerians emerged as one of the earliest urban societies in the world in southern Mesopotamia more than 5,000 years ago. They developed a writing system whose wedge-shaped strokes would influence the style of scripts in the same geographical area for the next 3,000 years. Eventually, all of these diverse writing systems became known as cuneiform. About 3500 BC, various writing systems developed in ancient civilizations around the world. In Egypt, full developed hieroglyphs were in use as early 3400 BC. One hieroglyphic script was used on the stone while other scripts were written in ink on papyrus. The earliest known technology that was used in teaching has to be the stone carver or chisel, if you ignore the sharpened stick used in writing on the sand. The first known erasable tablet used as a teaching aid was when Quintilian got students to write on a hard wax tablet using a blunt stylus made of wood or metal. The wax tablet could be scraped to get a new surface to write on it again. This was perhaps the first time reusable writing material was used, a new technological innovation. The use of the stone, slate, and stylus, an ancient teaching or learning tool before paper and graphite pencils came into common use, was used in rural schools in the developing world as of late as the mid-20th century. From this beginning, the teaching machines today have become the computer, the laptop, the modern tablet, and smartphones. The story of technology in teaching and learning is a long one extending from the misty past of the early ages of human civilization to the present times. The teaching boards. The need to provide information to a large audience at one time led to the evolution of teaching boards. The whole class or group of students can visualize the information provided on the board. Globally, the classrooms of universities, colleges, and schools use blackboard, green board, whiteboard, dry erase board, or the smart boards. During the 18th century, teachers and students used clay tablets. The teacher went to each student and wrote the lesson on each student's slate or tablet. In 1801, in Scotland, James Phelan, head of the school and geography teacher, hung a large piece of slate on the wall to teach the students. George Barron, a mathematics teacher from the US, used the first wall-mounted blackboard of connected slates. In the US, by mid-19th century, every classroom had a blackboard to teach students. These were made of dark gray or black slate stone. Calcium carbonate or calcium sulfate sticks were used to write on the blackboard. The use of the blackboard by a teacher depended on his or her ability to draw and write on the board. It provided variety of opportunities for modifying the presentation of the subject matter and the subject content. The introduction of the blackboard was a new innovation that was well accepted by the teachers and it gained popularity across the globe. The next one is the green board and brown board. The modern version of the blackboard is either green or brown board. This was introduced in late 1960s. These boards were still plate coated with porcelain-based enamel which could be used for a long time. The whiteboards or dry erase boards came into use during the late 1980s. They have a glossy white surface for writing. Instead of chalk pencils, whiteboard pens were used to write on whiteboards. Considering the health reasons and cost effectiveness, by 1990s, most of the classrooms were replaced with whiteboards instead of blackboards. The next one is the interactive boards. Interactive boards are connected to a projector which connects with a computer or laptop. The interactive whiteboards can be mounted onto walls and used in any setting. Towards the end of 2000, the smartboard came into existence. It is like a dry erase board that does not use pens to mark on it. It has a projector that puts the image on the board. The teacher could, however, never reproduce on the boards by either chalk or markers the intricate diagrams in a book. Hence, a teaching aid had to be created to do just that. The Epidioscope and the overhead projectors were the result of that need. And now we will tackle about the projected teaching aids. Projected aids have been used since antiquity. One of the first ones to depict this idea was a drawing by Johannes de Fontana in 1420, which showed a monk with a lantern, and the side of the lantern had a translucent window with an image of the devil on it, and the image could be projected on the wall. Several people took inspiration from this and created their own versions. Thomas Rasmussen Walgenstein was the first to call the device as a lanterna magica, or the magic lanterna. A projected aid is used to enlarge the image of a slide or a film strip and project it on a screen kept at a distance. The room is either totally or partially dark. Since a darkened room reduces distraction, it tends to be an effective teaching aid. Color on the slides make it more attractive. Motion will make it more dynamic, and motion with sound will make it more enticing or exciting. Projected aids are useful for small and large learning. The various devices used are the Epidioscope, slide projector or overhead projector for transparencies, and the microprojector. The Epidioscope is an optical device for projecting a magnified image of both transparent and opaque objects onto a screen. The Epidioscope is comprised of an episcope and a diascope. In the epi position, it can project opaque and flat objects such as textbooks, journal pages, and drawings. In the dia position, with the use of suitable slide carrier slides. In 1850, William and Frederick Langenheim from Philadelphia invented hyalotopia, a transparent image of a photograph using actual black and white photographs on a glass slide that could be projected using a magic lantern. Later, the transparent colors were added to the pictures to enrich the visual experience. By 1873, a German art historian, Bruno Meyer, manufactured and used projected lantern slides called glass photogram in art history lectures in 1892. The new electric magic lantern projectors were introduced. This technology was embraced with enthusiasm by Hermann Grimm, an art history professor at the University of Berlin. In 1916, the German company AGFA started producing colored lantern slides, but it was only after the 1920s that it was available outside Germany. PowerPoint. Bob Gaskin and Dennis Austin developed the first version of PowerPoint called Presenter in 1984, and Microsoft released the first version of the software in the year 1990. Before the introduction of PowerPoint, a lot of time was spent drawing and writing on the board, transparencies, or slides. The introduction of PowerPoint does save millions of man-hours every year. The prominent place that the chalkboard, whiteboard, and the overhead projector occupied in the classroom was replaced almost completely by the ubiquitous PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint software's package has found wide acceptance among the teaching, scientific, as well as the business community for making presentations. Computer-assisted instruction. Computer-assisted instruction consists of a range of computer-based packages which focuses on providing interactive instruction in a specific subject area. In the field of education, computers were used initially in mathematics, science, and engineering as a tool of mathematical problem solving. Around 1900s, the use of computers and e-learning were increasingly incorporated in the teaching or learning resources in medical schools. In the 1960s, the use of computer-based materials were used to demonstrate mobile learning or M-learning. A mobile learning education process can be considered as any learning and teaching activity that is possible through mobile tools or in settings where mobile equipment is available. Cell phones, palm tops, and handheld computers, tablets, laptops, and media players can all be included under mobile learning devices. With the evolution of technology also evolving is a generation which has a preference for multimedia to written text, who have grown up with increasing attachment to technological innovations and are interested in interactive learning. The education industry has also been affected by these changes, resulting in a transformation in knowledge delivery using information technology and digital media. So this is the discussion of our topic. As stated by, a teaching aid assists the teacher in teaching a topic, thus only a part of the job and is controlled and administered by the teacher. These aids encompass many kinds of tools, starting from the basic blackboard to the most modern mobile teaching aids. The clarity of the lesson depends on the type of teaching aids. The choice of teaching aid used depends on fundamentality on the task to be accomplished. Black, green, brown, and white boards. As an old method of teaching aid, the blackboard has advantages of being inexpensive, reusable, allows students to keep pace with the teacher and not depend on electricity. The chalk used for writing requires no special care, is cheaper without any smell, good impact on presenting written and visual aids. The disadvantages includes the time consumption to write not being very effective for a large audience. Content cannot be retrieved once, erased, and chalk dust may cause respiratory problems. The green board is more pleasing to the eye than black, lighter in weight, more durable, and cost-effective. Dust formed while cleaning the board was the only disadvantage which may lead to the development of chalk-free whiteboards. Washable or permanent ink markers of multiple colors can be used on such boards as the background is white. Their boards are convenient for drawing diagrams and highlighting. The pens used for writing and the solvents used for cleaning have pungent smell and are very expensive. Sometimes solvents are required for cleaning the whiteboard when permanent ink markers are used. Added to this is the fundamental limitation that reproducibility of figures was limited by the drawing skills of the teacher. Epidioscope transparencies for overhead projection and slides. The Epidioscope was used to project any non-transparent pictures, photographs, charts, and sketches, three-dimensional objects, and handwritten materials. The reason for its popularity was the ease of use by busy practitioners and the fact that it obviates the need for making slides and transparencies. The disadvantages of using an Epidioscope is that in spite of having inbuilt powerful fans, the pages of the books exposed to the intense heat can become dehydrated and it can get damaged. The light scattered from the book source is less than 20% and the image formed on the screen may not be bright. Therefore, the room needs to be totally dark. Transparencies, however, can be projected in normal lighting to large audiences and the presenter can face the audience. It is easy to prepare with materials that are readily available. The presenter can use strips of opaque paper or cardboard to cover sections to progressively disclose information. The disadvantages is that it cannot be used without electricity and storage is difficult as the transparencies can stick to each other. The projector head can get in the way of audience's views, and some presenters feel confined to the machines because they have to manually change each transparency by hand. Another drawback is that it is not suitable for photographic material. Slides overcame this drawback with its ability to show full-resolution photographs. The disadvantages are that it requires a screen, a slide carousel, projection equipment, and power and at least partial darkness for viewing. The order of the slides is fixed in the frame strip, making any last-minute additions or changes difficult. Duplication of color slides is difficult or often impossible in resource-limited storage. MS PowerPoint Computer Assisted Instruction and Mobile Learning, or M-Learning. The subject content, the learning objectives, and learner types are the primary factors that determine the effectiveness of the software package in the learning setting. Although the software package has many features that can be used to promote learning and teaching, it is rarely that one sees teachers incorporating these aspects into their presentations. Among the facilities underutilized is the opportunity for builds that may be used to show, for example, variations from the normal in a progressive manner. The choice of font types and sizes that facilitates reading and the factors related to the design that promote or hinder the recall of information have been described. The judicious use of the features available would help the instructor to produce slides that play an important role in conveying the key messages effectively. The slides can be used by the teachers as well as the learners. Few presenters use the interactive feature available in PowerPoint instead of relying on text, sound, and animation, thus leading to the categorization of the common use of the package as a weak form of multimedia. Text-heavy slides with inappropriate and incorrectly used images and symbols abound in many classroom settings. The practice of teachers providing slides that are loaded with text to their students may be attributed to the fondness of some students for slides of this format, which obviates them from the need of having to take notes. Some critics refer to the emphasis of the use of unnecessary animations as that which interferes with the presentation of the clear ideas. Apart from PowerPoint, other computer-based materials can enhance or supplement lectures and other traditional methods of instruction. Computer-aided instruction is readily accessible in electronic format. It is reproducible, can create an interactive environment, and can mimic clinical situations in medical practice. Computers have the advantage of presenting a large number of images with sounds, animation, and video clips. The information can be easily accessed by the students at home and enables individualized learning at their own pace and time. It assists in the understanding of the theoretical concepts when it is applied in a simulated setting. The effectiveness of this method of instruction has been documented in terms of knowledge acquisition and meeting learning objectives. A well-structured computer-assisted session is enjoyable and appealing and maintains the interest of the students. The computer-aided instruction reduces the expenses in terms of laboratory costs and consumables. It is a useful aid to demonstrate difficult and time-consuming experiments. It can extend the learning experiences to a large number of students. And those are how the way of teaching evolved through the centuries, through generations, and through the years. Use of technology and education has come a long way since the earliest times of human civilization. While embarking on age with advanced technology, we need to take full cognizance of the lessons from the past, striking a balance between embracing new methods of teaching and learning while holding on to timeless principles of time. Thus, the newer educational technology can be effective tools of teaching and learning in this rapidly changing technological world and be a part of comprehensive system for a lifelong education. So we must give importance to education and let the students know about the history of education and everything that happens around us. A history of everything is very important because we will be able to know where those things came from and what happened in the past. So as time passes by, there are development and modernization in everything, so we must learn to cope up with the modernized technology and also not forget about the things that was made in the past. So thank you, that was all, and again, I'm Josepyne Jullienne F. Garcia and I am from DLM1, and that's all. Thank you.